Welcome back to another episode of Scratch. So you remember I told you in our recap class that I'll be looking at animation for this section, okay? But before we begin, you want to know the meaning of animation. Animation is Scratch, is making your characters called sprites move, change costumes, or do cool tricks using your codes, okay, which is your blocks, your colorful blocks. All right. And then in Scratch, you can make your character jump, spin, move, talk, and even disappear with animation. Do you know that? All right. For today's class, we'll be looking at expressive motion animation. So let's begin. What is expressive motion animation? Expressive motion in Scratch allows kids to create animation where characters move in ways that show emotions, effects, and realistic actions. Okay, so this is what you're going to learn after today's class. You'll learn how to create effects like zoom in and zoom out. Okay, we're going to code for it, and then how to spin. You can make your sprite spin. So we're going to learn that. You can make your sprite shake, you can make your sprite jump, and even change color effects. All right. So secondly, learn how to control sprite size, direction, position, appearance. And thirdly, you understand key motion and loops block. Then lastly, build short animation combining at least 3 of the effects we are going to learn. Okay. So after learning how to zoom in and out, spin, shake, jump, and changing color effects, we are going to use it to create a mini project where we're going to combine 3 of the effects. Okay. So now, what is zooming in Scratch? In Scratch, zooming in and out means making things appear bigger or smaller on your screen. All right. So now we're going to code. Okay. We're going to code for zoom. So we'll be deviating to our Scratch interface. All right. So for this particular project, we'll be using our card. Okay, we are not choosing any backdrop. We just want to use our default card. Okay, so we want it to be this way. You go to your events and we're not going to use when green flag is clicked or once when the sprite is clicked. Okay, that's what we want to do. We want to use this particular block to play our project. Okay, so the next block we'll be using is our weight. Go to your controls and get your weight block. Are we using a weight block? No, let's use our repeat block. Use your repeat block. Okay. So the next block we'll be using is change. You can get your change block from our looks. Remember I said that the looks block, can use it to change the appearance of your sprite. So you go to your looks and then you look for change size. Is here. You place it inside your repeat. Change size by 10. All right. So the next block we'll be using again is our repeat. So we can as well choose to duplicate. Duplicate this and place it under here instead of dragging. You saw what I did with the duplicate. This is how you can duplicate. You place your mouse, okay, and then you right click. Then you get this 3 option: duplicate, add comments, delete blocks. So now I want to duplicate. I'll click on duplicate and then I have this. But then I don't need extra because I've already duplicated. So I'm going to click on it and then I'll go ahead and delete this block. So I'll place this one here and make some minor changes. Okay, so I want this to repeat 5 times. So I'll change this 10 to 5. All right. So now we need to add another block inside this our repeat blocks, which is the weight block, because we want our sprite to wait for some seconds before it, that is, so when it zooms out, it will wait a little bit before it zoom back in. Okay, we are animating, right? So we're going to use our wait block to control the speed of our project. Okay, so get this and place it inside the first repeat loop, and we're going to change this to 0.1. Okay, then for the second one, place it inside, and we also change it to 0.1. Okay, so now change size by -10. We're going to add a negative sign to this. Okay, change size by 10, change size by minus. All right, so that is it for zoom. Let's click on the sprite. Remember, we coded for when the sprite is clicked. So if you click on the green flag, nothing is going to happen, as you can see, because I didn't use the when green flag is clicked block. Okay, so I'll click on my sprite. You see, I clicked on it. It's zooming in and out. It's zooming in and out. That's wonderful, right? So that's it for the zooming in and out. So go back to our slide. Listen. So here are the steps we took for our zooming in and out, right? The next thing we'll be looking at is color effects. So what is color effect in Scratch? In Scratch, color effect is a fun way to change the appearance of sprites. Okay, so now we'll be coding for it to show you how you can code for color effects when you want your sprite to change color. Okay, it can be the object sprite or the characters. All right, so here are the codes we'll be using. We'll be using when the sprite is clicked. The next block we'll be using is our forever loop. Then the last block we'll be using is change color effect by 25. Okay, so we're not using much blocks for this project. Now go to Scratch. Let's go and do it together. All right, we already have our default cards here. So we'll go to our block palette, click on events, and get when the sprite is clicked. Okay, you drag it and you drop it here in your script area. So the next block we'll be using is our forever loop. Forever loop can be found in our controls. You drag and you drop it under when the sprite is clicked. Okay, so the next block we'll be using is our change color effect block, which you can find in your looks. So click on looks, scroll down and get change color effects by 25. Then you place it inside the forever loop. Okay, so when we click on our sprite, it's going to display different colors. All right, now we're going to click on our sprite. Let's display. You see, I clicked on the sprite and then it started changing different color. Can you see? So this is how you can change, you can add color effects, changing color effects in your project. Okay, so now we'll go back to our slide. Can you see? And the next effect we'll be looking at is our spin. We have the spin effect, how to make your sprite spin. All right, in Scratch, spin refers to rotating a sprite around a point using its center. It helps kids create fun animation and interactive effects in their projects. Okay, so here are the steps we'll be taking because we'll be coding for it now. Let's code for spin. I'm still going to use when the sprite is clicked, but if you like, you can use when green flag is clicked. It's still going to display, but me, I'm choosing when the sprite is clicked. So the next block we'll be using is our repeat loop. Okay, the next block we'll be using is turn 18 degrees. Then the next block we'll be using is the wait block, okay, to control the speed at which our sprite will spin. So after that, we're going to click on our sprite or green flag, depending on the one you're using to code it. Okay, so now we'll go back to our sprite and I'll click on file, save my project, save to computer. All right, it's saving already. Now it's saved. This is how you can save your project. Now you go to file and then create a new project because we want to code for spin. All right, here's our default card. Again, we're still going to use it. We use it in our effects project for today's class. Okay, so you click on your events, get let me use when gray flag is clicked. When gray flag is clicked, we're going to use repeats. Your repeats block, place it here. So the next block we'll be using is our turn. So you get it in your motion. Okay. Anything that have to do with motion, you come to this blue block and then you get it. So we have turn. This is the clockwise, right? Turn clockwise 15 degrees. We place it here. Then we're going to change this to 18 so that it will turn. It's going to spin and it's still going to come back to this position. Okay. If we leave it at 15, it's not going to spin all around. We want it to spin all around and then maintain this position again. Let me show you. You see that. So now we can use our weight block to make it turn swiftly. Let's just change it to 0.5 and see. You see, it's moving small. So now I'm going to make it 0.05. You see, when we click on it, all right, let's click again. You see, I clicked on it and then it's spinning. All right, this is how you can add a spinning effect to your animation project. Okay, these are the effects we'll be using, okay, in our animation classes. So I want you to get the basics. This is like the basics of the animation. So you need to understand all the things we are doing here, all these effects, because we'll be using it for our bigger projects. Okay. So now let's go back to our slide to see the next effect we have. All right, the next effect we'll be looking at is the shake. Okay, so what's a shake effect? The shake effect in Scratch is a fun way to make sprites or backgrounds appear to vibrate or shake. Okay, like you can use it to animate let's say thunder strike or earthquake. Okay, you make your background and your sprite shake. All right, so now I'm going to show you how you can use this particular effect, how you can create it. Okay, so here is the blocks for it. The first block we'll be using for it is when the sprite is clicked. All right, then the next block we'll be using is repeat, the repeat block. Okay, so the next block we'll be using is our change x by 10. The next block we'll be using is the weight block. The next block we'll be using is change x by -10. The next block we'll be using is another weight block, and then we'll play our project. Okay, so now let's go back to Scratch. Okay, before we start, we'll still click on our file and then save the project. Then we'll click on it again to create a new project. All right, now we're going to code for shake. We're going to make our sprite shake this way. All right, so now you go to your events. Get me when the sprite is clicked. Get your repeats. Go to your loops, your control, and you get your repeat loop. Drag and drop it right here. The next block we'll be using is change x by 10. So you go to your motion. There's our change, is down here. Change x by 10. You place it inside your repeats. Okay. And then you go to controls and get your weight block to control the speed at which your sprite is going to shake. Okay, so we're still going to change it to 0.05. All right, so we'll go on and duplicate instead of dragging those blocks out again. You right click and then you duplicate. You drag the duplicated one and you place it under. Okay, or let's say drop this here. You can as well, instead of duplicating the repeats, you can as well get these two blocks. You can as well get these two blocks and place it right under this first one. Then you are going to add a negative sign to this. That's the only change you're going to make. Add a negative sign. Then you delete this repeat block that we dragged out. And then let's play and see. You see, I clicked on it and then it's shaking. Can you see? It shake 10 times and it stopped because I say repeat 10 times. I say repeat 20 times. It's still going to shake for 20 times. So let me change the value here. I don't know. I'm trying to click in there. Alright, is it clicking now? Alright, that's okay. We're going to leave it the way it is. So this is how you can add a shaking effect. You can also do it to your backdrops, okay? So we'll go back to our slide to see the next thing we have there. Alright. Next thing on our slide is the jump effect. Okay, we have the jump effect. The jump effect in Scratch allows a sprite to move upward and then come back down, simulating a realistic jump. Okay, this is how you can make your sprite jump. We used this particular effect when we created our unicorn glide, when we're making our unicorn jump over obstacles. We use this effect. So I'm going to show you how you can create the jumping effect. Okay, here are the blocks we'll be using. We'll be using when the sprite is clicked. Next block we'll be using is repeat 20 times. Or the next block we'll be using is change Y by 10. The next block we'll be using is our repeat. And then change block again, change Y. So then after coding, you play your project. So now let's go back to Scratch. You save to your computer and then you create a new project. Alright. So now we'll start coding. Go to your events and get when this sprite is clicked, drag and drop it here. The next block we'll be using is our control. Go to your control and get your repeat. Your repeat block, drop it right here. So the next block we'll be using is change X by go to your motion. Get me your change X. Where is it? Is down here. Change X by 10. You see that? And then you get your weight block. You can find it in your controls. And then you're going to change this to 0.05, right? Can you see that? And I think the block we'll be using for this is Y. Change Y. Where's our change Y? Because we want to code for up. We want our sprite to jump up and down. And you know our X and Y coordinates. You see? So now I want it to jump up and down, right? So we're going to code for the down part. So we have to duplicate this. Duplicate. Now we'll place it under here. This time around is going to be a negative. Add a negative sign. Change Y by -10. Okay, to make it come down. The first repeat loop is for up. Then this one is for down. You see, it's going up and down. So I'll place it right here. If I click on it, let's see. You see, it's jumping up and down, up and down, up and down. You see? So this is how you add your jumping effects in Scratch. Okay, when you are creating your project. So now we return back to our slide. So now we looked at zooming in, zooming out, spin, jump, shake, and then which other effect did we look at? Also looked at color effect, right? So, and here we go: jump, shake, spin, color, and zoom. Here are the 5 effects we looked at now. So now we're going to combine some of these effects to create a mini project. Okay, so we're going to create a mini project named Dancing Robots. Okay, for this project we'll be using our Ritual Robots sprite. All right, so we're going to make a robot dance inside a futuristic lab using some of the effects we just learned. So I know someone will want to know what futuristic lab is. So here's the meaning of futuristic lab. Futuristic lab is like a super cool science room filled with amazing high-tech tools. As you can see here, there's a futuristic lab image right here, and the machine that helps scientists do awesome experiments. Maybe you do see this in your movies. Okay, so we're going to use it as a backdrop. We don't want to choose a backdrop from our backdrop library, so we'll upload. All right, because we don't have a futuristic labs backdrop in our Scratch. Okay, so we'll have to upload. So the next step we'll be taking is to choose our sprite, and the sprite we'll be using is a Ritual Robots. Okay, so after that we're going to upload our futuristic lab and then we'll code. Okay, here are the codes where the step we'll be taking while coding. Right, can you see? Can you see the codes? Whoa, I think it's a little bit much. After that, we're going to play our project. So now let's go back to Scratch or Scratch interface. We'll save this and then we'll create a new project. Okay, now we want to create our mini project, right? But we don't want to use our default cards. For us, there is no default cards in our intro. So you go on and delete the sprites. Alright, now it's time to choose our sprite. So you click on your sprite icon and then let's search for our robots. Ritual robots, you can decide to search for it. Alright, it's right here. Here's our ritual robot. Whoa, we have many costumes. We'll be using the first costume for this. Alright, here's the first costume. This is our robot. Now, I want to upload the futuristic lab from my computer. Okay, in case you don't have it already, you can just go to, let me show you how you can download and then upload. You click on your browser and you can type in futuristic, futuristic lab images, and enter, and then it's going to show you so many options. Can you see? It's going to show you so many options. So we have so many options. Alright, here is the one I used for my project. So I'll go on and you click on it. Okay, when you click on it, you right click. And then you choose save image as. Alright, then you wipe this You type in what you want to save your image as, what you can remember. I already have it here. Can you see Futuristic Lab? So I will just type in Futuristic Lab. Future for Futuristic Lab is already here. I'll do it Futuristic Lab 2. Okay. Futuristic Lab 2, and then I'll save. Alright, it's downloading. It's already there in my PC. So let's go back to Scratch. Now I want to upload this particular image I just downloaded. So I'll come to this place. I'll choose upload sprite. No, not upload sprite, because I want to upload a backdrop, not a sprite. So let's go to the backdrop icon. I'm supposed to hover, but then I clicked. Hover on it, and then you choose upload backdrop. I just clicked on it and it opened up this for me. So let me type Futuristic Lab and see if it's going to pop up. Futuristic. Let's search. Let me see if we have it here. Alright, Futuristic Lab is right here. I'll open. It's important. Whoa, it's right here. But then we have a little bit problem. It's not covering our stage. We need it to cover our stage, right, to make our project look so real, right? So that will take us here. We're here, right? So you click on, let's change this to vector, let's select and then expand. Go on and expand it. Make sure it covers everywhere on the stage, every part of your stage. See? Woo! It's not, our project is not looking so beautiful. You see that? So now I want to make this, my robot is looking short. So I want to make it longer. So I'll click on the leg and I'll stretch it out. Click on it. Click on it, stretch it out. You see that? See what I'm doing right there. Stretch it out to make your robot longer. Oh, you see, it's looking okay now. Right? And then we'll go on and we'll delete this costume. And we delete this costume. Okay? So we're going to do something else. We want to give this particular robot other costumes. So it should be switching costume because we want to make it dance. Remember, the name of this project is Dancing Robots, right? So we are going to duplicate this first one. And then you come here, you pick the hand, select. No, we're not picking it out. You see that? You make the hand, select the second hand, we shift the hand a little to see what I'm doing. Okay, so this for the second costume. You see? So for the third costume, we are still going to duplicate. Go on and duplicate. And then we are going to raise the hand again. Select. Okay, now we're going to set the hand. Take it backwards. Alright. You see that? So for this one, take the hand backwards. Alright. That is it. So now it's time to code. Our backdrop is ready and our sprite is ready. So we're going to code for our sprite to make it dance while adding some of the effects we'll learn. So we're going to use when green flag is clicked. When green flag is clicked, we want something to happen, right? We want it to say something. Remember, this is a robot, right? So you go to your looks and you get the say block, drag it and drop it. You get another say block, drag and drop. Okay. So for the first say block, we are going to type in system built-in, system built-in, system built-in. I'm going to say system built-in for 2 seconds. Okay, and then for the second say block, it's going to say activating dance mode, activating dance mode. You see that? Then just also going to add an exclamation mark to this. All right. When green flag is clicked, say let's click on the green flag and see system built-in. You see that activating dance mode. That's wonderful. So now the next block we'll be using is the play sound because we want it to play to make some sound. So we are going to use the computer beeps. Okay, so you drag and you drop. So now listen. You hear that? The next block we'll be using is our forever loop. You drag and you drop it right here. So this forever loop makes our project run forever. So you don't have to keep clicking on the green flag or any block you use to play your project. You don't have to keep clicking on it. Okay. The forever loop will make it play consistently once you click on the green flag. And it's going to stop only when you click on the red button. Okay. Or if you add the stop all block to your project. All right. Now the next block we'll be using is our next costume. Click on your looks. Get your next costume block and you place it right inside your forever loop. So this is going to make it display those costumes that we created. Okay, so it will seem as though he's dancing, he's lifting his hands while dancing. That's why we created that costume that we did. So now we will be needing our weight block. So you go to your controls and get your weight block, drop it inside your forever loop, and then you change the timing to 0.2. Okay, I want you to switch costume at 0.2. So let's play and see what we have done so far. System built-in, activating dance mode. It's going to make the sound and then it will start dancing. Okay, you see it's already displaying that. So now I'll click on my red button and then we are going to code for zooming in and zooming out. We want to add it. So it's going to be zooming in and zooming out while it's dancing. Okay. So now to code for zooming in and zooming out, we are going to get our change X or shake. Okay, let's add the shake. Okay. So we'll be using our X. Go to your motion, get change X by 10 block, place it inside your forever loop. Okay. And then we're going to get our weight block. Go to your controls, get the weight block, drop it inside your forever loop and change the timing to 0.1 seconds. Okay, then you go to your motion, get your change X by 10 block, and then you click right in, click here and add a negative sign to the 10. Okay, so now let's see what we've done. You see, Is now dancing while shaking. Can you see what's happening? He's dancing, he's switching costumes, and then he's shaking. Okay, so let's click on our red button. So the next thing we'll be adding here is our color effect. Okay, or the zooming in and zooming out. Let's add our zooming in and zooming out. Okay, after which we're going to add our color effect. Remember I said we'll be adding 3 effects. So we'll add the shake, the zooming in and zooming out, and then the color effect. So now you go to set size to, which you can get from your looks. Set size, let's look for it. Set size to 100, place it right here. But we don't just want it to be 100. Okay, we want it to be switching sizes randomly. All right, so to do that, we go to our operators. Get me your random block, pick random block, and you place it on top of this 100. Okay, and then we're going to change this from 80 to 100. Change size from 80 to 100. I don't know, I'm trying to. I don't know why it's not deleting. Supposed to be 80 to 100. Okay, 80. It's now clicking. Pick random size from 80 to 100 while dancing. So let's play and see. System between activating dance mode. You see? It's now dancing, shaking, zooming in and zooming out. You see that? So now the next block we'll be adding is change color effects. Okay, so we're just going to go to our looks, look for change color effect, and then we'll place it right here. So it will now be changing color while dancing. You see, now our robot is zooming in and zooming out, switching colors, and then shaking while switching costumes as well. This animation for you. So now the next thing we'll be adding here is sound. Okay, we are done coding for our robot. The next thing we'll be adding is sound, right? So go on and click on when green flag is clicked. Go to your events, get to when green flag is clicked. But this time around, we are going to place this block separately, because we are not going to, we don't add this block, you don't place another block on top of it, and you don't place another block, you don't place it under another block. You can only place it and then you attach other blocks to it. You see, as you can see, it doesn't have any space where you can attach it to another block, or you can add another block to it, or you can add blocks to it from the under. Okay, so now you go to your weight, click on controls, get your weight block, and then you change this to 4 seconds. The 4 seconds is going to wait for is this 2 plus 2 seconds is 4. So it's going to wait for this to say system between activating dance mode, and then for this particular sound to happen, and then it will start playing. So when we play, we'll check if it's going to correspond. If it doesn't, then we'll adjust our time. Okay, so the next block we'll be using is our forever. So drag it and place it under here, and then we're going to go to our sounds and get place sound until done, and then you place it inside your forever loop. Can you see that? Place it under your forever, inside your forever loop. But now we have to change this computer beeps. We don't want it to be playing computer beeps for us. We want to use dance around sound. There's no dance around here. So now we'll go to our sounds. Where my mouse is over, you click on it, and then you choose, come to this place, click on this icon, and you can type in dance around. Dance around is in. Can you hear the sound? We also have different sounds. You see this one? Can you see? This one is dance funky. This one is dance magic. So we'll be using the dance around. Okay. So let's choose dance around and we'll go back to our code. Now, you've selected the dance around, so you click on this drop down and you switch it to dance around. Switch it to dance around the sound. Now let's play and see. System button, activating dance mode. You see something happened. It didn't allow this sound to finish before it started playing. So we're going to use let's say 3 point. Let's make this 4.5 seconds. 4.5 seconds and see if it will correspond. You see that it's switching costume and it's dancing. So our robot is dancing. That's beautiful, right? So then you click on stop. Okay. And then our projects have stopped playing. So this is how you can animate a dancing robot. You can also use a different sprite for this project, but me, I choose to use a robot for my project. So you can use this code for a different sprite. You go to your sprite library and you can choose any other sprite. You may choose to use the dancing sprite like Anina Dance. Anina Dance is dancing, so you can use her or any other dancing sprites. Okay, when I click on dance, I'll see all the dancing sprites. I have Cassie dance, ballerina dance, 1080 dance, LB dance, Amon, Champ 99, D Money D, Jehovah dance. You see that? So now we'll go back and we'll see. You see? And then that is the end of today's class. All right. I'll see you in our next class. Bye for now.